first, I'd like to thank you so much for your time with us. Love Victor is being huge here in Brazil. You guys have a lot of fans here. And I would like first to ask you, you started working at a very young age, right? How do you tackle the pressure of the entertainment industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of different for everybody. Like I find my best work is under pressure or under stress and things like that. But the best thing to do, I think, first of all, is talk to people about it, because every actor goes through it, and just find time to relax. As an actor, you do more waiting than acting, and that's when the pressure builds up. And so if you can, like, in that time, either sleep, which is what I usually do, read a book, play a video game, get your mind off it, and then come in just with a fresh headspace, you're going to be way better off.
Oh, that's perfect. Because I see you're not very connected to social media, right? Like your fans,
not very much.
Your fans always like, please ask him to post something. We miss him on social media.
I'm sorry. It's just really not my thing. I'm trying to get better at it for sure. But also for my sanity, I try to step away from that stuff as much as possible. But yeah, I am trying to get better at it.
Yeah, it's just because they really want to show you all the love, and they just, please tell Anthony to be on Twitter, to be on Instagram.
So appreciative of it, 100%, and thank you all so much for the support. But I also think it's good to make sure, as much as negative comments hurt you, I think compliments do as well, and I think you need to filter those out in your life. So, I don't become a narcissistic asshole, but at the same time, I don't also hate myself. So I want to go between those two and find a humble middle. Exactly. So that's what I try to do. Though I am going to try to get on social media a little bit more, because I don't think I've posted in like a year. They
told us, like, he only posted when season 1 of Love Victor came out, and now on season 2. So,
man.
What have you learned working on Love Victor that will take forever with you?
Ooh, the thing I learned the most was probably with the people that I'm around. I've learned a lot of different sides of the industry because of my cast and the crew. And, you hear their experiences, and, a lot of us got into it in different ways. And so, and there's so many different avenues you can take in this industry. So, just learning what their process is and with their acting theory, and just see how they do things that's different from mine, which is never a bad thing, because they've showed me a lot of ways, and I think it's become a lot of ways to improve myself in my career. They help me improve my acting and my performance. So they really helped me out on that.
That's perfect. And the character development that Felix had on season 2 was huge. Like, I remember watching episode 6, and I was like, yes. So how was your reaction, like, seeing the plot for your character during season 2?
Yeah, it was, I learn about the story as we go. So they're like, you need to give us the scripts as we are filming them. So I really was interested at the start of the season to see what Felix's mom was like, and, going down that avenue. And it was intense. It was such a switch from what the character usually was. It was huge. Yeah, a totally different side, which explained why he was so supportive and caring and understanding. Because he had this whole secret life, and he didn't really want to share it. And so, I really enjoyed it. I thought it brought a lot of depth to the character, and it was so much fun to play. And I just really wanted to bring it justice. So. And
how did you get ready for those emotional scenes?
Well, my process with everything is mostly visualization, intention, and then once you figure all that stuff out, you let it go, and then you just be present in the moment. And then whoever you're acting with in the scene, you just go off of them, and then they go off of you, and then it's a back and forth. And so you never really know what's gonna happen in a way. You obviously, like, you have some idea, but then, you know, you might be doing something in the moment that is surprising. So it's hard to say I prepare for it, only because I try not to. I try to go in fresh as much as possible, and try to my reactions be as natural as possible as well. So.
And what is the thing you admire the most about Victor and Felix friendship?
The support and the caring for one another. And I think a lot of people want that, and a lot of people maybe don't have that. And then so it's I understand that. I can that is something that I don't. It's nice to see. Like someone just being there for you constantly, no matter what.
And it's hard to find a friendship like this, like nowadays, right?
I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I think so. I think there's definitely a lot of people out there wanting it. I just think, you know, a lot of people open themselves up as much as they maybe should sometimes. You know, the reason why it even happened in the first place with Felix and Victor was because Felix was just so persistent on it.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave him a walkie-talkie the first 5 minutes. And maybe don't go that far, but I definitely think if you open yourself up to being loved, I think you'll find it.
Yeah. And what tip do you think Felix would give to someone going through a hard time?
Find the silver lining, mostly, I think. I think there's, you know, and this is just my life. Whenever something like terrible or just something wrong something wrong happened in my life, it always benefited me in the long run. And I think a lot of people think in the moment, and they don't think like a year down the line. And so in a year down the line, you're going to be learning so much. And so, yeah, I'd say try to see a positive outlook on things, or just know that a positive outlook will be coming in the future. And this is happening to you for some reason.
For sure. And was there any character that inspired you to play Felix?
When I went in for the audition, I mean, I read the character and I was just kind of like, oh, okay. And I kind of just, you know, developed him without anyone in mind per se. I have seen things online that says I'm like Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, like this went viral on TikTok.
Did it? That's funny. I didn't. So apparently I'm like Dylan O'Brien, and I'm like the guy from My Babysitter's a Vampire.
Yeah.
And, so I guess I accidentally did that, but I never had anyone specifically in mind for Felix. I tried to make them my own as much as possible.
That's perfect. Now we have like 3 fan questions. The first one is from Felix Ward from Twitter. And he's asking that you guys from the cast have a really good relationship, right? Is there any behind the scenes funny story that you can tell us?
I'm trying to, I mean, yeah, we hang out a lot, and I don't know why I can't think of one. What I will say is Michael gives wet willies all the time in a constant state. That what else? Man. Oh, I'll tell you what. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first time, like this was the first or second time we hung out. We were driving in golf carts through Paramount. This was during season 1, and basically driving in these golf carts, and we were talking about, Michael and me were talking about racing or something, and I challenged him, and basically we said, oh, I beat you, I bet I could beat you in a race. And he's like, oh yeah, bet. And I'm like, all right, let's go then. And I was meaning racing on golf carts, so I really didn't think it was gonna happen. But he thought foot race, and so basically he took off his shoes and socks, and so did I, and we did this sprint through Paramount. But but that was a lot of fun. That was that was just such a weird moment, just because, you know, when I first started at like 11, it took me a year to get my first commercial, and I mean, then I was racing with people that I can now call my friends, and they were just through Paramount, which is such an historic place to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was just a weird feeling, you know, after 10 years of, I guess at the time it was 9, of just working my ass off to pay it off. So it was a nice feeling.
Yeah, and not a fan question, but do you think it's weird because you guys released it season 1 during the pandemic, and you guys shot season 2 during the pandemic, so you guys didn't have any premiere, any like contact in person with fans? Do you think it's something that you miss?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, you know, yeah. I mean, it's definitely been an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Working through a pandemic. The fact I've even been able to work.
Yeah,
is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've been super thankful for it. It's, but it's definitely weird. And I thought probably, yeah, I guess I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like imagining I Love Victor premiere. I would love it.
I love it too. Yeah, I think, you know, yeah, I would definitely love to do that at some point. But you know, safety
we hope
first.
we get one for season 3.
Yes, hopefully,
yeah.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And this question comes from Love Victor Bra, and we saw that an artist had an important role this season. How was working with her during this season?
She is so cool. She is so cool. I love Anna, and it was she's just, I mean, she's a veteran. She's an amazing actress. She was incredible. She was really fun to work with, and it's an honor to work with her. I mean, and she's just an incredible actress. So
yeah, I get it. And the last fan question is from Epic Bridgerton. I know you can't say anything about the ending scene of the season 2 of Love Victor, but do you already know whose door is that? Do you know? No? No way. No. No, I have no idea. I think both choices would make for good story. So whatever the writers choose, I think it's gonna be good. Yeah, and can I say to you that Felix and Pilar are like my favorite like storyline on season 2, and all my friends were like, we have like a very not common relationship with my friends, because some of them were like, no, I don't want Felix and Pilar. And they like send me memes like, if you support this couple, you're not my friend anymore. And
that's funny. Well,
I'm like the biggest supporter.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you know, it's I think both of those relationships were first of all insanely fun to play, and they're both amazing actresses.
Yes.
And yeah, I think, you know, it was definitely, I think, a choice from Felix that a lot of people weren't expecting. And yeah, thank you guys so much for.
I remember like the line that Felix says about like finding someone that inspires you, and then do you remember like recording this scene? How was it for you?
Was this in the aquarium?
No, like when he tells Victor about at the ending of.
Oh yes. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was like towards the end of filming.
Yeah.
And yeah, me and Michael were having a blast with that scene. It was actually one of my favorite scenes to film. And it was just like a really interesting moment of finally deciding after, like,
it was like a very beautiful line.
Yeah, I really like that little monologue when they close their eyes and they're trying to figure out who to choose. Yeah, it was a blast. And plus, I really loved that suit. I love that suit so much.
It's a beautiful.
I should have stole it.
Yeah.
One day, I gotta ask Molly about that.
Yeah. Since I mentioned the fans, I told you that you guys are huge here in Brazil. Have you ever imagined being loved by so many different countries?
If you'd asked me at the start of my career, no way. No, not in the slightest. I mean, I'm very thankful for it. It's a weird feeling, you know. I'm not sure if I'll ever get over it. It's strange when, like, you know, people know your face. It's just weird. And so yeah, it's crazy that people in like miles and miles and miles away know me. That's it's kind of overwhelming a little bit. I'm happy to it's just strange.
Yeah, I can get it. Like, and do you know anything about Brazil?
Actually, I really don't, but I've always wanted to go there. I heard it's beautiful.
Yeah, like every little corner of Brazil is different. We have like Rio de Janeiro, we have São Paulo, and every like little city has their own culture. So that's incredible. I think you're gonna love it.
And that's what I love. I've barely been out of California. I've like I haven't traveled much. I actually I went to New York, and that was a huge culture shock to me. Like everyone was so different. Yeah. I ordered something, and the guy like comes up to me, and I'm like, "All right, thank you so much," and he like just ignored me, and I was like,
"Very New York, yeah."
Yeah. I was like, "All right, well, you have a good day," and he just walks away. And I made sure to look in his ears, and there were no headphones, so I know he heard me. It was either that or he's deaf, and I'm gonna pick the former. It was, and I was like, all right, that's strange, and it was just like such a different vibe, I guess. And I told the New Yorker that I liked the rain, which is something I guess you should not do. Apparently, they're all miserable about it. But you get sunshine over here 24/7, so I enjoy clouds. But yeah, so like that was a culture shock to me. And then, so yeah, I want to be well-traveled. The pandemic has kind of
blocked it.
Blocked that, yeah, but I would love to go to Brazil. It seems like a beautiful country.
Yeah, I know all the fans gonna wait you guys here. So we just need to wait, and then you guys can come here because all the fans gonna go wild. Like the Brazilian fans are very passionate, but like in a good way. You guys need to feel this love in person. Yeah.
I would love to meet you all. It'd be fabulous.
Yeah, we're almost ending. I just would like to ask you some Brazilian words. Are you okay with that?
Oh God. Oh yeah, of course I'm okay. I'm just gonna look like an idiot, but here we go.
The first one is parça. Parça means like bro. You should call Victor your parça. So parça. Parça. Yeah, one more time.
Parça.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
The second one is I'm the boss, which in Portuguese means eu sou o patrão.
Okay. Eu sou a patrão.
Eu sou o patrão.
Eu sou o patrão.
Patrão.
Patrão?
Patrão. You're doing great. You're doing great.
I'm sorry, I can barely speak English.
Don't worry. And this one means nail it, and it's teve, lacre, sim.
Teve, lacre, sim.
Teve, lacre, sim.
Lacre, sim. Was that close? Yeah!
The last one is the name of our website that in English means popcorn bucket. In Portuguese means Balde de Pipoca.
Balde de Pipoca.
Yes, this one, yeah.
All right, go visit Balde B. Wait, sorry, do it one more time.
Balde de Pipoca.
Go visit Balde de Pipoca.
Yes.
Was that, yeah?
Yes, you got it. Anthony, thank you so much. I'm just gonna end recording right now. So if you just want to say goodbye to everyone. Bye everyone. Thank you for checking the interview.